Welcome. You're listening to The Weather Lounge, a podcast by WeatherWorks. Get ready to explore the world of weather and connect with engaging guests, bringing you fun and thought-provoking stories of just how weather shapes our lives, sometimes in ways you've never imagined. So, join us as we unravel the mysteries of the atmosphere. Today's episode starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Weather Lounge. I'm your host, meteorologist Brad Miller, and our podcast comes to you from our WeatherWorks headquarters here in lovely Hackettstown, New Jersey. And joining me today is actually one of our special guests and Hurricane Outlook folks here at WeatherWorks, colleague Steve Coppertino. What's going on, Steve?
Hey there, Brad. What's up? Good to be back.
Yeah. I figured we'd have a little fun today, and we got the next summer holiday really right on top of us here as we head into Friday, the 4th of July, Independence Day.
Yeah, it's really crazy how fast this snuck up on us. It did not feel like the lead up to the 4th of July this week.
No, it's just, you see stuff on social media already like, oh, we're halfway done with the year, which is true. But, everyone, why is everyone in such a rush all of a sudden? It's like, oh, yeah, we got to get ready. And
I know. Just calm down, let's enjoy it. We're finally in summer. Like the weather's, it's hot, but it's decent. So
yeah, it is. It's amazing, that we're already into the 4th of July. But we're gonna have some fun today on the podcast. We're gonna talk about the forecast for the weekend, and also we'll have our own fellow meteorologist Mike Priante here joining us. Also, he's also our producer here at the Weather Lounge. What's going on, Mike?
Not much, guys. Good to be back here talking about the weather.
Yeah, Jen Diorio, also a part of our podcast team here. She had better things to do today, so she didn't want. No, I'm kidding. She actually took a vacation day, so
yeah, she's probably at the beach.
Yeah. Well, we got to use our vacation during the summertime because we're so busy in the winter. That's for sure here at WeatherWorks.
That's true.
All right, so let's recap the late spring and early summer, because it seemed like we just couldn't get out of that lousy pattern here in the Northeast. It was. I can't remember, and Steve's good at statistics and things like that. What was it, like 12 or 13 straight Saturdays that we had rain?
yeah, for Boston, I believe it was 13 when I was talking about that, but last weekend made it 14.
That's right. It did rain a little bit on the last Saturday in June.
Yeah, and then I was speaking with Ken, and I didn't really look up on this, but allegedly Albany hasn't had a completely dry weekend since November. We're gonna have to go back and fact check that, but really just kind of speaks to how dreary things have been lately.
I don't know. I read some places, oh, the spring was nice, it was mild, but I kind of think it was a cool spring. It just seemed like if we had one or two hot days, then it was replaced quickly by cooler days right after.
Yeah. I mean, up by me, what was it, April 12th? I had 3.5 inches of snow.
Oh yeah. We talked about that with Jen in the last podcast. That was crazy that we got that elevation snow like that.
Yeah. I had to stay up for that one. I was up till about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was wild. Did not disappoint.
Yeah, I don't think you got any snow from that, Mike, because you're more towards New York City. And
No, actually, I did have some mixed precipitation out of that, if you can believe it. There was something falling from the sky. Now it was like 98% rain, but there was a couple of wet flakes that were mixing in, or even not wet flakes. There's actually grapply pellets. But I had something. I was like, oh, that's not just rain falling. Okay.
Yeah, that was the same thing out my way. The lower parts of the Poconos only got like a slushy inch, but yeah, you got up towards like Mount Pocono, and actually some of the places we do forecast for, there was 3-4 inches of snow once you get above like 1,500 feet. So that was definitely a crazy setup. But we had our first heat wave now of the year, which we kind of remember from last week. I mean, it was crazy too, because we just basically went from like, what they say, the heat wave was like going from like seeing a state trooper. What's the joke or something?
It's like the joke is saying where you're driving and like you're going 70 and like it's as if you went from 70 to 30 after seeing a state trooper on the
Right, right, right,
highway.
right. But it was the opposite of that, right?
Right.
Yeah, you sped up.
Yeah, because we went from like highs in the 60s and 70s to like 100.
It was ridiculous, and we ended it in such a strange way too. With the backdoor front. I
Oh,
mean,
that's right.
usually,
I forgot about that.
Brad and I were
Yeah.
talking about that last week. Usually, you get that nice, kind of typical cold front that pushes through and really knocks things down. But we had that backdoor front come down from southern New England, and then it was just like dreary, drizzly, and nasty. I think last Friday it was like in the mid 60s here
Yeah.
after being 102.
Yeah, I
So
think I remember Hartford was close to 100 on that Tuesday or Wednesday at the peak. And then on Friday, I don't think they got out of the low 60s. So it was like a 35 to 40 degree change.
yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
was
That's
crazy.
nuts.
it was a crazy change. I mean, I remember March, well, not March, but April and May were very rainy and ended up being very we just kept getting stuck in these in these closed off upper level low kind of patterns where we just kind of just had all this moisture around, and there was just not really one good day with a lot of dry time, maybe 1 or 2 days, but like the majority of the weeks had some sort of rain. And of course it pinpointed itself in the weekend, which is where everyone's off. And of course that's why people think, oh wow, we've had a rainy every single weekend's been rainy. It's like, well, yeah, and, but it has had some dry time, but it just didn't happen when people are off, unfortunately.
Yeah, it
So,
was well that put a dent in the drought, that's for sure. Northeast drought. Do we even have
oh yeah,
anything
the
left?
drought's gone.
Yeah, no, the drought is long gone,
We're done with the
actually.
No, there's
drought,
still a
which is
few
good.
patches, guys, officially.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know about that.
we went from from a extreme drought in South Jersey to nothing. So I consider that a win. I mean, if there's a couple of spots maybe across the mid Atlantic that are still like, abnormal, or it's fine. Abnormal droughts are fine. It's really when you start getting into the into more of the extreme categories when things become more dire. I mean, I remember at some point we were under a drought warning, I think. I don't yeah. So those are difficult because a lot of the basins and just the reservoirs become so low. It's really dire at that point because a lot of that water goes into tributaries, and a lot of that water sometimes gets funneled into drinking water purposes, agriculture, irrigation. So if it's a little dry, not a big deal.
Yeah, and that was really impacting our clients too. A lot of our landscaper guys were having a hard time with grass and everything because it was just so dead, and you can't really do anything with that.
Yeah, yeah, and then it went from that to make it stop raining. I can't cut the grass.
I know, exactly. Yeah.
Well, remember we had the early brush fire risks too, going like even as early as like the end of March, early April.
Yeah. Yeah. Not as crazy as last fall, but yeah.
Yeah, and now we kind of flipped the coin here for now we're dealing with flooding. I mean, Mike's area that he forecast for, down South Jersey and parts of, Southeast PA. I mean, they've been getting inundated the last like week or so with rain.
Yeah, as of the recording of this, I mean, there was a pretty good flooding event as a cold front swept through all the way from Virginia, and maybe even parts of like Northern Carolina, all the way up into Jersey, where some places picked up over 3 inches of rain. Actually, even the past couple of days, there's been some areas that this past weekend specifically, there was a couple of spots in like Maryland and Southern
Yeah,
Delaware that
basically the end of the last few days of June, going into the early part of July.
lots of weather. And I don't know. I know climate change and all of that is certainly a sticky topic, but I wanna just blame all of this crazy weather patterns on the Hunga Tunga eruption. I don't know if people remember that.
No, I
Um,
mean things like that take a couple of years. They say, yeah, to really alter, and that was what 3 years ago, 2 years ago.
That happened in 2023,
Okay.
the big eruption in the Pacific. And I can't say, I don't have all the facts right in front of me. I don't have any studies, but I did hear that it certainly affected things. And I mean, it's possible that, you have some like kind of like the butterfly effect where, things down the line could get affected. But I just don't know how. But I'm just kind of a lazy guy here, and I'm just gonna say, well, why is the weather so crazy? Oh, I don't know. Blame the Hunga Tunga
Well,
eruption.
think about how much of that mess, sulfur dioxide, and all the stuff that comes out. I mean, it goes so far up in the atmosphere, and then just gets spun around the globe a couple times. And you're right, it gets all, incorporated into all the different, circulations, what have you.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, since it was an underwater volcano, you're injecting a ton of water vapor in the upper atmosphere. So, and it's going to take years for them to, do all the studies and kind of verify and review these things. So, who knows? Who knows? But things have certainly been wacky and wild the last couple of
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But it's also funny to say Hunga Tunga.
Hunga
So
Oh
Tunga.
I don't know.
yeah, yeah, that never
I
gets
just
old.
like saying that word. So if someone's like, "Oh yeah, what's the weather? Why is it so crazy?" Oh, it's the Hunga Tunga eruption. It just
And they
rolls
think
off
you're
the
making
tongue.
it up. Yep.
Yeah, they're just like, I've never heard of that. So yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
It's real. It's in the Pacific.
So we here at WeatherWorks we go we do some work for some of the local stadiums and functions that are going on with summertime concerts and soccer of course is a big thing, Mike, and I know you went to MetLife or you're going there again in the near future. I mean, we got the FIFA the FIFA club going on this year, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things happening, but the FIFA World Cup, well, the club, I don't know exactly how it differs from the main World Cup, but certainly the FIFA Club World Cup is occurring this year. But next year, that's when the bigger one is going to occur. That's the more famous World Cup, where yeah, that's going to be across. Actually, it's this year is interesting because it's not going to be in one city. It's actually going to be in multiple cities across North
It's
America.
in joint cities across the area, right, across the
Yeah,
country.
yeah, I know for a fact it's going to be in the New York City area, MetLife Stadium. It's going to be in Philadelphia. I don't know. I guess there's other spots in the United States. I know there's going to be some in Mexico, I believe. So they're going to be all over, which is going to be interesting for teams if they have to travel and it's like it's not in one entire city. It's spread across the entire continent, which is interesting this year. But yeah, no, we're gonna be right in the thick of it here. And as with WeatherWorks, our meteorologists help supports not just soccer and any sporting events, but all the concerts and events that occur at some of these locations like City Field, MetLife, Prudential Center.
Right,
You
keep
know,
everyone
a lot of
safe.
a lot of our forecasts are crucial to helping these workers manage just the day-to-day operations and
Right.
also keeping people safe pretty much.
Yeah, and it's amazing that next year, the whole world, I mean, because soccer is as big as we know football is, our football, American football,
Oh
it's,
yeah,
and of
football.
course the US plays in London a couple times, and I think they played in Germany a couple years ago, but this is soccer. This is the worldwide sport, and it's all going to be focused on MetLife next July for the final game of the World Cup, and that's going to be huge. I mean, like we were talking before the podcast, I mean, I can't even fathom the amount of people and the logistics are going to have to go into that.
Yeah. Just looking up the names of the cities, is all. I mean, Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami, Seattle, Philadelphia, San Francisco, and of course, MetLife in New York, New Jersey.
I think the final games are like July 22nd or something like that.
I don't know when, but I do know it's in July. In Mexico, Guadalajara, Mexico City, Monterrey, also Canada, Toronto and Vancouver. So it's all across. It's basically the top three in North America. There's Canada, U.S., Mexico. So there's going to be.
According to AI, it's going to be July 19th, 2026 at MetLife.
All right. Well, let's do some fact checks on that because no offense to AI, but it's gotten some things
No, I think
wrong.
it's right around then though. But yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
huge. I
Well,
mean,
generally, I think it's going to be in July. But you can always go to FIFA.com and look up the actual dates and not trust AI.
Yep. Yep. It's great advice for everything.
that's yeah, that'll be front and center next year for sure. So not to bring up things like this, but it's July. We're past the solstice.
Yeah,
Days,
Don't do
I
it.
mean, our other colleague Simon would love this stuff. He's a big winter weather guy.
Oh, no,
Days are
you
getting
said the
shorter,
word.
yes. I
You
know.
said the word.
I'm
Don't.
not saying the S word though.
No, you said the W word. That's just as bad as the S
I
word.
know.
Yeah.
But
We have to censor this later on.
Yeah,
know.
we'll bleep that out.
It's I don't notice it. I don't think anyone really notices the days getting shorter, but I think he said in one of our chats that we lose 40 minutes of daylight this month. So
Wow, that's a buzzkill.
I know. But again, you know what? It's just like the first day of winter. I mean, actually, days started getting longer. December 23rd, 24th, or Christmas. But the worst of the winter is still yet to come, just like summer.
Yeah, exactly.
The first day of summer was over a week ago, Brad. Like,
I
let's
know.
just slow it down.
I know,
June
I know.
21st was like 10 days
We
ago. So
talked
like,
about this in the beginning of the podcast. Yeah, we'll leave it be.
yeah, let's just calm down. I
Now, the
mean,
worst of the heat and humidity is still ahead of us, actually, for July and August.
I know.
So.
Yeah, I mean, probably, I don't know if we're going to see more heat waves heading into late summer, but there's certainly a possibility. I mean, based on the pattern here, we could easily see another, crazy ridge build in.
No, it's
And
inevitable that something, yeah.
yeah, I think the one thing that really, really was bad with this one too was, I mean, obviously air temperatures were, into the not really super high. I mean, there were air temperatures that were like, maybe getting to like 94 to 98, which is by itself pretty high. But the main thing were the dew points. And I remember the first day of the heat wave, just to go back to it, dew points were in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. An 80-degree dew point is the worst you could probably feel. I know there's worse, like out in the Middle East. They can get to like the low 90s, which is
Well, when you live
insane.
near the equator, that's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and it's insane because at that point it gets hard to breathe, and if you increase the dew points even more, I mean, theoretically you could drown in the air, but
Yeah, that's right.
not possible.
What?
But yeah, you can. I mean, obviously you need like well, we're talking on a theoretical
Yeah, I
view.
guess.
You could, because there's so much moisture in the air. You're kind of breathing that in, and that's just kind of like, coating your lungs. But again, I don't think that's possible. But still, upper 80-degree dew points, that can't be comfortable. I mean, if you have asthma, good luck.
Well, the problem with that too is at night, it's tough in urban areas to cool off. So I mean, a lot of those places don't even get out of the 80s at night, which is nuts.
And you can't sweat. I mean, your body is just like has no idea what to do. If it's just like, your body's just soaked. And so like if you're working out, you're just gonna get overheated. Like even if you're just normally like doing light exercise outside with a dew point of like 85, like yeah, you're gonna go into shutdown mode.
Well, that's when heat exhaustion sets in, heat stroke, things like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
those heat indexes are probably like 130, 120. It's insane. So I mean, we got heat problems, and and Europe probably has their own heat problems, but like nothing can compare to the Middle East, and across the equator. That is probably the worst heat and humidity you can experience. So we have our own problems, but yeah, they have it worse. So
It's all relative. It's all relative.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I really hope we don't have that many more heat waves to go because I don't know if you guys have looked at the Western Atlantic, but it's still running, a couple degrees above normal. So if we do get, a nice moisture feed from there, there's a pretty good shot we're going to see these miserable dew points again. So I'm good with some, cooler and maybe cloudy weather here and there, but I don't really need the this crazy heat and humidity anymore.
No, I agree. And while we're along those lines there, Steve, talking about the warm Atlantic, and we got you here, Stevie Lynx, Stevie Hurricane, Stevie Tropics. Let's before we get into our forecast for the holiday weekend, let's talk about what was the first one?
Andrea,
and then Barry.
yeah. I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, they were on the minimal side.
They are the definition of what we call shorties.
Yeah.
Basically tropical cyclones. I mean, as you could probably
Briefly
imagine,
yeah,
that are very
briefly
short-lived.
that briefly meet the criteria.
Yeah, I think Andrea lasted for about 6 advisories, which was about a day-ish. And then Barry was kind of the same deal. Both not the most aesthetically pleasing cyclones that you'll ever see. But they happened, and we are going to be moving on to Chantal
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that, because that could be in our near future. Not here in the Northeast or the Midwest or anything, but obviously it's going to be more of a Florida impact. But yeah, talk a little bit about that as we go into the holiday weekend, because that's, I guess, when we're looking for maybe some development.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so right now there's a stalled front kind of draped over portions of Florida and into the southwestern Atlantic. Not really a whole lot of organization there. That front's just going to kind of gradually wash itself out, and you'll have thunderstorms pop up each day. And really, what we're going to be looking for here is just kind of an area to start to organize, and maybe you start to see an area of low pressure develop. The thing is, this is more of a non-tropical way to get a system, which, with the whole front and everything like that, there's going to be some lingering shear. There's actually going to be some dry air coming in from the southeast too. So the overall story here is that whatever develops should be on the weaker side. It's not going to have, really a chance to strengthen all that much. At worst, we're probably looking at a depression, maybe a low end tropical storm. And there's even a chance it could be subtropical, which just
But more of a rainmaker versus any
exactly.
kind of strong winds and things like that.
And there'll be a decent pressure gradient between the high pressure that's over the mid-Atlantic and southeast and this little low pressure itself. So that'll actually create a decent rip current risk for those trying to go to the beach during the holiday weekend too.
That's true. Yeah, you get that long fetch
Yep.
coming in
Basically
from the
just,
east.
yeah, onshore flow. But yeah, then we'll have a weak cold front that'll hopefully lift this thing north and east come Monday and Tuesday, and then eventually out to sea.
I mean, I know the models, going that far out. I think it was a Canadian I saw actually brings it up the northeast coast or something.
Ah.
Canada always spins things.
It does.
It's very prone to taking any sign of low pressure and spinning it into a tropical system. It loves doing that.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
yeah, they've fixed it in the last couple of years, but it still has some crazy runs from time to time.
So yeah, let's dive in here to and it's weird because we've had this active weather recently. You get a nice day, then you get a couple stormy days, but it's really starting to look like we're gonna have a nice stretch of weather beginning what the actual 4th of July Friday through a good portion of the weekend for most of the Northeast.
It's almost too good to be true. Like it seems like the last several Fourth of Julys have just been kind of not too great. So definitely looking forward to that. I mean, the humidity is going to be way down. Should be nice and sunny for a good portion of the weekend too. So should be a nice time.
Yeah, it looks like high pressure kind of builds in from Canada actually, and like you said, it'll start out kind of dry and seasonably warm, and then humidity will come back as usual it does. But it's and then we get a lot of calls, here at WeatherWorks, a lot of folks getting ready for festivities, fireworks, and things like that. But yeah, overall, I mean, we have that one little disturbance coming through the day before the 4th on July 3rd, can bring with us some storms parts of the Northeast. But then after that, yeah, Friday through Sunday. I mean, couldn't ask for a better stretch of weather for a holiday.
No, no, for sure. I guess I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's gonna get a little bit hot, but there's not really much to talk about.
It's
So
supposed to be hot though on 4th of July weekend.
yeah, it's early July, you know.
Yeah. Well, you want to go swimming, you want to go to water parks, you want to do
You can go
stuff outside.
outside, enjoy a nice hoagie at Wawa.
Hoagie Fest.
Yeah.
It's funny when you mentioned Shorty, Steve.
Yeah, that's right.
A Shorty at Wawa is a 6-inch sub.
Yes, it is. It is.
But the full 10-inch classics right now are hoagie or $6 too. So
Well, apparently they have apparently the Hoagie Fest is also not just subs now. It's like any sandwiches and things that are not subs are also on sale.
yeah,
I
no, you're
sound
right.
like an infomercial here, but
I was
no,
gonna
I
say we
mean,
need to get sponsored by Wawa
it's
here.
sponsored by Wawa,
Yeah.
right? But no, I mean, I outside of that, I think it's going to be a great weekend just to enjoy everything. And anyone that actually has fireworks on the 4th of July across the Northeast and even like the Mid Atlantic, perfect. I know people like to have their fireworks the day prior or the day after, but I don't know. Outside of Thursday's little storm risk in the Northeast, the rest of the weekend looks great. Beautiful weather, perfect weekend. Also weird that the 4th of July is on a Friday this year, but at least it's a nice extended weekend. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
So
Exactly.
it's going to be nice, yeah, for everybody, all the way into the Midwest. Even it looks like, so it's a good solid weekend for everyone, and kind of take everyone's mind off of weather for a little bit and enjoy the weekend.
Well, Brad, we never stop thinking about the weather here.
I know, but that's because it's just us. That's the way we are built, loving weather since we were kids
Built
and
different.
stuff. Yeah,
We are
Exactly.
built different.
we are
Yeah,
built
that's for
different.
sure.
Weather weenies and meteorologists, and it's always on our mind. And you can't stop looking at things. And even if it's not impacting, you're like, wow, look at this tornado out in the plains. This one was.
Yeah, weather's always interesting.
Oh, and you know what? Something I just saw. Well, as of yesterday, we're recording this on the 2nd of July. But anyone of you guys see that the scary looking cloud over Atlanta yesterday on the
No.
1st?
I did not.
Yeah, it was all over social media and X about how there was a tornado outside of the baseball park at Truist Park down in Atlanta. It was just a big old scud cloud, but it was probably one of the biggest ones I've ever seen, and it looked like a tornado, but there was obviously no rotation. People were getting all worried that, oh, there's a tornado
Oh,
coming.
wow. Yeah. Look at that.
You got to look it up. Yeah, it was
Let me pull it up here and see.
pretty impressive
Oh,
of a scud cloud. I mean, it's
Okay, that's fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
Doesn't that look?
Yeah, that is, like, on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't
that
it?
is, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's listening
That's
that
so
wants
weird.
just Google it and look up scud cloud over Atlanta, July 1st.
That is a scud cloud, but
Yeah.
it's one of the lower reaching scud clouds.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, scud's just like a disorganized, kinda dark, jagged-looking cloud that
Right.
usually extends pretty low to the
Scary
ground, but, I
looking
mean, this
clouds.
one is on the ground, which
Yeah, it
is
does. That's
rare.
pretty cool.
Yeah. I wonder, I mean, was there any tornadic activity in the area at all,
I
or?
don't know. I think there's just some storms around, but yeah, if you had some rotation, it would it looks like a wedge.
I mean, it does
Yeah.
look like a wedge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty interesting. But all right, well, let's cover one last thing here, kind of a fun thing. So we're all from different areas. I'm from the Poconos, and Steve's out there in northwestern New Jersey. Mike's in kind of northeastern New Jersey. So I'll start. Your favorite place to work, or I guess what we can say is maybe what do you think is the best fireworks around the area, your respective areas? So I'm going to say Camel Beach here. Some people, it's actually Camelback ski area. They do a great fireworks show, and this year it's on the 3rd. No, it's actually on the 4th, but they do a great show. You know, one of the top fireworks I've ever been to, but that's the place a lot of people go, and they get a lot of cars in there. And I think there's so many different places around the Poconos that do fireworks that they don't all do it on the 4th. I think they do that for a reason. So there's one place does it Thursday evening, one place does it Friday evening, one place does it Saturday evening, which makes sense. That way, all the places can get folks to check out their fireworks. But yeah, I think the Camelback area does a good one here. Mike, you know of any?
Oh yeah. I mean, pretty obvious near me.
Yeah, you're close to New York there.
Macy's does a crazy fireworks display in New York every year. I mean, that's the closest to me. I mean, obviously all the towns around me do them, but honestly, they're kind of dinky compared to New York City. I will say I've been to one. If you've ever been out, it's really random, but in the middle of PA in State College, they throw really good firework
Really?
displays. Yeah, in State
Well, you went to
College.
college out there anyway, though, so.
Yeah, but the one time I was there, it was really good. I mean, like, it's one of the top in the country, supposedly, or at least it used to be. I don't know if it is anymore, but it used to be, like, up there. I know there's, like, the top, like, 10 fireworks, and State College is in that list. So it's, that one's pretty good, but obviously Macy's, you really can't, go against that one. That's, like, the biggest one in the area. So it's kinda by default, though. I haven't seen anything else better than that.
Steve, what about you? You got anything around your area?
Um, I mean, the one that we went to last year was it was pretty nice. We went to the Sussex County Miners game. They have a pretty nice display. I mean, and you get to see the game, and they have their whole hometown heroes parade. So it's a nice time. Um, it's not the craziest firework display, but it's a nice night.
Right.
It's crazy seeing fireworks when you're in a plane. I mean, people that fly on the
Yeah.
4th of July just see all the fireworks below going off. It's crazy. It's cool to see it from above.
Yeah, and I guess since we've been dealing with air quality so recently too. I mean,
yeah, you never think, yeah.
let's say after the fireworks, you get that little inversion at night. All that smoke and
Just
junk
sits
gets
there.
trapped in the surface, and yeah, air quality tanks, but not from fires or Canadian wildfires or anything.
Yeah, homegrown.
Yeah, homegrown
I'm saying then
air
all the
pollution.
municipalities, everyone. It seems like everyone has a little fireworks show, a local fireworks show. It's always nice, and dogs don't like it. Of course, they make them. Well, I don't know if you have a
Yeah.
dog, but they hate fireworks.
Give them a CBD treat or something.
Yeah, and now I mean fireworks have become legal in most places. I mean, you can go to stores. I know out here in Pennsylvania they got stores all over the place. You can buy fireworks, and I don't know. I can't remember if New Jersey has that. If you can just buy them or not.
I think you can get like smaller ones.
Yeah, smaller ones, right?
You can't get like the M80s or whatever.
Now I'm gonna age myself a little bit, going back to when I was growing up back in the '90s and stuff. I remember, and I grew up in New Jersey. They weren't, of course, fireworks stores then, but you'd buy fireworks out of some guy in the back of a trunk or a van.
Oh my God, Brad.
Probably illegal back then. I think it was.
Yeah, okay.
But you'd go there with like $20 and you buy some M80s, get some bottle rockets, get some Roman candles.
All right.
And that's how it was done, though. That's how you got your fireworks.
WeatherWorks doesn't condone what Brad's saying right now.
This is not. Yeah, we don't condone what's being said on this podcast.
Yeah, this is a Brad thing.
But you know what? If somebody remembers that, going back into the 80s and 90s, that's how it was done, though. That's how in New Jersey you go out and you buy your fireworks. And
yeah, reach out on the socials if you if you did anything like Brad did.
Please don't. But yeah, no, we don't condone that. But anyway.
No, you can buy them legally now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's cut this before we say things we shouldn't.
All right. So for Steve and Mike, and Steve, thanks for joining us again today. And we hope that you subscribe to the Weather Lounge and you'll get notified when a new podcast drops. And of course, you can follow us on all the big social media platforms. And of course, you can visit us right here at weatherworksinc.com. And again, thanks for tuning in. And we hope that everyone has a safe and happy 4th of July weekend. We'll see you next time.
That's a wrap on this week's episode of the Weather Lounge podcast. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on all your favorite podcasting platforms so you don't miss out on future episodes. Have questions or comments? Just email us at weatherlounge@weatherworksinc.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can also learn more about our parent company, WeatherWorks, by visiting weatherworksinc.com and checking them out on social media as well. Thanks again for joining us, and until next time, stay curious and stay weather-wise.